Namaste, dear students. Let us start with the second part of Module 4 Professional and Engineering Ethics. In this part, I will be covering with the Code of Ethics. The Institution of Engineers India is a national body of engineers in which was established in the year 1920. The institution has a membership exceeding 10 lakh engineers and more than 100 chapters and centers across India. As the largest organization of engineering and engineers in India, the Institution of Engineers has recognized the need for ethics in the engineering profession and developed a set of guidelines for engineering professionals to follow in the course of their profession. The guidelines known as the Code of Ethics. Let's see what are the Code of Ethics as defined by the Institution of Engineers. Number one, engineers shall deliver their deliverables without discrimination, maintain honor, dignity, and integrity in their workplace with their work. Engineers shall exercise diligence, care, and sincerity and honesty towards their profession. Engineers shall not misinterpret or falsify the qualifications of any product or any procedures. Engineers will not damage the image of other engineers, very importantly, and engineers shall not indulge in unfair practice causing damage to the surrounding or ecosystem. Engineers shall be informed with the client's employer about all concerned matters related to technical aspects to the concerned. Engineers must maintain confidentiality about their work. And finally, engineers shall compete on the basis of pure merit. Responsibility towards ensuring the safety of the general public in the preference of their task. Responsibility to contribute to the development and progress of the country. Obstructive approach is something practiced by those who prioritize personal gain ahead of the responsibilities. Obstructive engineers do not have positive outlook toward their fulfillment. For example, an obstructive engineer will always avoid tasks which carry responsibility and prefer those that bring credit and recognition. If faced with criticism over their actions, obstructive engineers deny any form of wrongdoing and will use any means possible to obstruct or impede any inquiry into findings and their fault. The obstructive approach is the most negative manner in which the responsibility is viewed. Obstructive engineers are seen as irresponsible and unreliable by clients and employers and may lose out the rewards in the long run. Second one is the defensive or minimalist approach. The defensive or the minimalist approach, as the name suggests, concerns one who is defending in or her actions that have led to negative consequences. Responsibility is not taken by them seriously under this approach, and the reliance is placed on one's ability to defend one's self through all means. Defensive engineers normally recognize only those responsibilities, the dereliction of which could bring them the penalties or loss. For instance, if an engineer makes several mistakes in the course of his or her work, he or she will rectify only those mistakes that might lead to his or her termination from the employment and will not bother to attend the less serious ones. Similarly, the obstructive approach and the defensive approach will not find much trust from the employers, and the general public. And moving on to the third one is reasonable care approach. Reasonable care approach could be imposed or be inherited depending on the nature of the one's work. In the reasonable care approach, the engineer observes both imposed as well as inherent responsibilities. The engineer has Positive outlook towards the concept of responsibility. Engineers with this approach could also set aside personal gain and credit in order to fulfill his or her responsibilities. The engineer not only fulfills all legal responsibilities but also attempts to fulfill the ethical responsibilities. An example, an engineer, while designing a product, not only complies with the instructions provided by the client or the superior, but also takes into consideration the safety of any person who may use the product, even if not instructed. Such engineers often enjoy a decent status in society and are generally trusted by the clients and employers. The last approach is the good work approach. The good work approach is the highest form of recognition of responsibility by an individual. It involves the fulfillment of all legal and ethical responsibilities. A proactive engineer prioritizes his or her responsibility over other considerations. It goes beyond the call of duty of the engineer. Responsibility is viewed as a positive concept and it is fulfilled respective towards recognition or credit. Engineers who follow good work approach are alert in the performance of their task and hold themselves accountable for any consequences arising as a result of their actions. For example, an engineer not only fulfills his responsibilities but also promotes ethics amongst his colleagues. This approach is considered to be the highest form of observance of one's responsibility. Such engineers are easily trusted by the employers, clients, and the general public. Impediments to responsibility. Impediments or obstacles are present in all aspects of profession, including responsibility. There are several phenomena that can interfere with the fulfillment of responsibility by engineers. It is important for engineers to recognize such hurdles and ensure that they do not obstruct their professional responsibility. Some of the common impediments to responsibility faced by engineers are as follows: self interest, fear, self deceptions, ignorance, egocentric tendencies, microscopic vision, uncritical acceptance of authority, groupthink. Trust and reliability in engineering. Trust forms an essential part of all professions. Engineers, as experts in specific fields, are professionals upon whom people depend for services. When engineers are engaged for their services, they are expected to provide expert advice and suggestions, which will be acted upon by the recipient of their services, often without second thoughts. The pillars of truthworthiness lie in honesty, integrity, and reliability. So, what do you mean by honesty? Honesty means uprightness. An honest person is one who is truthful and refuses to lie and deceive others. Truth and sincerity are the foundations of honesty. An honest person has a clear conscience and sincerity towards his duties. Honesty consists of two aspects, namely truthfulness and trustworthiness. Truthfulness is the ability to speak the facts and show sincerity towards the one's duties. Trustworthiness is to fulfill one's duties without fail. Thus, an honest engineer is one who fulfills his duties while speaking the truth and remaining sincere to the profession. Dishonest engineers, on the other hand, enjoy little trust, encounter doubt and questions over their work, and constantly face the risk of losing their jobs and clients. So, traits of dishonest engineers. There are a few traits, the characteristics which will make the engineers as dishonest. They are as follows: lying. Lying refers to making statements which are believeless, to be false or providing misleading information with the intention to deceive others. Deliberate deception, quite similar to lying, the deception refers to the implying knowledge or expertise that one does not possess to impress an employer or potential customer. Third one is withholding information, omitting or intentionally withhold the certain facts regarding the products or services which may be important for decision making by another. Failure to seek truth. Honesty is the positive trait of truth finding and not just a negative trait of not lying. Engineers must attempt to speak the truth in circumstances where the whole truth is not available. Fifth one is revealing confidential information. Confidentiality is one of the most important attributes of the professional ethics, and engineers who reveal confidential information to unauthorized persons are seen as active dishonestly. Last one is corrupted judgment. Engineering professionals are often required to make some judgments in specific scenarios, and those who allow irrelevant consideration to influence their judgment, resulting in ignorance of the truth, are said to hold corrupted judgment. Next, we will move on to the topic called integrity. What do you mean by integrity? Integrity is concerned with the character of a person. It refers to acting in an ethical manner without expecting rewards or returns. Expect the mental satisfaction of having done the right thing. Integrity is present in all professions and can also be found in non professional persons as well. Engineers of high integrity are easily trusted by others while obtaining their services. Integrity is present in all professions. Engineers are required to understand the concept of integrity and enable them to make appropriate ethical decisions when faced with difficult situations. Engineers of high integrity are easily trusted by others while obtaining their services. Okay. So, what are the ways of losing integrity? Impediments to responsibility. Impediments or obstacles are present in all aspects of profession, including responsibility. There are several phenomena that can interfere with the fulfillment of responsibility by engineers. It is important for engineers to recognize such hurdles and ensure that they do not obstruct their professional responsibility. Some of the common impediments to responsibility faced by engineers are as follows: self interest, fear, self deceptions, ignorance, egocentric tendencies, microscopic vision, uncritical acceptance of authority, groupthink. Discipline and the consistency in performing tasks, consistent track record, practice of engineering ethics, honest completion of task, willingness to accept challenges, creative and innovative abilities, performance of task with integrity, positive attitude. Intellectual property rights and engineering ethics. What do you mean by intellectual property and property rights? Intellectual property refers to intangible property which comes about as a result of innovation, creativity, or some other form of idea. Common example for intellectual property are inventions, literary works, artistic works, designs, names, logos, etc. The creator of an intellectual property is often its owner and has a right of exclusive usage over the intellectual property, which is known as intellectual property right, or simply we say IPRs. IP rights enjoy protection under various laws, both at national and international levels. Some common IP rights are patents, copyrights, trademarks, etc. IP rights can be bought, sold, and licensed by their owners. Intellectual property laws aims to protect the rights of owners of intellectual property as well as foster an environment in which creativity and innovation can flourish. Some of the different intellectual property rights are patents, trademarks, copyrights, design, geographical indications, integrated circuits, trade secrets, plant varieties. So, what do you mean by honesty? Honesty means uprightness. An honest person is one who is truthful and refuses to lie and deceive others. Truth and sincerity are the foundations of honesty. An honest person has a clear conscience and sincerity towards his duties. Honesty consists of two aspects, namely truthfulness and trustworthiness. Truthfulness is the ability to speak the facts and show sincerity towards the one's duties. Trustworthiness is to fulfill one's duties without fail. Thus, an honest engineer is one who fulfills his duties while speaking the truth and remaining sincere to the profession. Dishonest engineers, on the other hand, enjoy little trust, encounter doubt and questions over their work, and constantly face the risk of losing their jobs and clients. So, next topic moving on is risk, safety, and liability. What is a risk? The engineering profession generally involves construction, development, production, and designing. The aim of all engineering work is to provide products or services to enhance the lives of the public. Hence, it is inevitable that the product and services produced by engineers will be used by large sections of society. Under such circumstances, engineers need to ensure that they perform their work with the utmost care in order to reduce any sort of risk involved. Risk is defined as the possibility of damage or loss of something valuable. For example, if a bridge is constructed by an engineer without observing proper standards, it poses a risk to the lives of all the users of the bridge. The common potential risk involved in engineering are bodily harm, economic or financial loss, damage to the environment, loss of reputation, loss of time and effort. What are the means to what are the means to reduce risk? Undertake the preventive measures for each risk, provision for training to staff and employees, implementation of contingency plans to ensure the preparedness for each risk, assessment of major and minor failures in risk management. And there are so many means to reduce risk, like using fault tree analysis, What do you mean by fault tree analysis? Fault tree analysis is a fault tree is used to make an assessment of risk involved in engineering. It is a scientific process to determine various combinations of errors and uncertainties that could lead to risk of undesired events in organization. Second point is safety. Risk and safety are interrelated. The main aim of risk assessment is to ensure safety of life and property. Safety is the state of being safe. It is a condition which occurs when risks are judged to acceptable. Although risks are present in all scenarios in life as well as in engineering, risks which are at an acceptable level do not pose a threat to safety. Safety should be priority in all aspects of an engineer's work, especially if the engineer work involves provision of products or services to the public. Safety measures in engineering. Engineers should adopt the following measures in the course of their work to ensure safety of clients and customers. First one is ensure inherently safe design, provision for negative feedback, implementation of multiple independent safety barriers, establishment of safety standards for each product and services, identification of acceptable levels of risk, regular maintenance and inspection, provision of appropriate staff and employee training, reporting the incidents. Ends the module number 4, ethics. Thank you for patience hearing.